Welcome to Fairy Podmother. I am your host, Jadea Kelly. Today I'm speaking with my second ever podcast guest, Ken friggin' Yates.
Hello.
The joy of our lives.
Yeah.
My goal for this year was to interview everyone involved on my new album, Weather Girl. And lucky for me, Ken Yates is featured on track number 3, Lake Louise. Ken, welcome to Fairy Podmother.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
We're has. Here. It really has
been like
over
a year and a half of you trying to get me on this.
I think just in general, my podcast episodes have been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I like to space a year between each filming.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be on this exclusive podcast.
Before we begin, I prepared a short bio so that everyone understands how amazing you are. Ken Yates, born June 15th, 1989 in London, Ontario, Canada, a Berkeley graduate and an avid bird enthusiast.
That's in my bio? Did you get that off the internet?
I wrote you a new bio.
Sweet. Oh, great. I can't wait for this.
If I'm not mistaken, Ken's current bird score or life list, these are birds you've identified, is 539. Is that still your number?
I think we're getting close to 600 now.
Oh, my God.
I know the listeners are tuning in for this.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'll hashtag some birding.
That'd be great.
Also, aside from your love for birding, you've released so many beautiful albums. One of my favorite came out in 2022. It's called Cerulean. You have a new album coming out that will steal all of our hearts. But Ken has won 2 Canadian Folk Music Awards. He has toured as opener for Passenger in North America and Europe, and he's also currently on tour with the legendary Kathleen Edwards. Okay, to ease us into things, I thought I would ask you some lighthearted rapid-fire questions before the serious, hard-hitting questions.
Great, let's go.
Okay, how do you feel about being my second ever podcast guest? One-word answers, please.
Honored. Yeah, I feel honored.
That's really nice. Yeah. Okay. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Ooh, good question.
I would say mine was Pierce Brosnan. I'll just put that in there.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
He was up there for me too. GoldenEye. It was I think like Scarlett Johansson and Lost in Translation, I think was the first time I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Something turned on for you?
Yeah.
Something within you?
Yeah, okay. It's like, that's a pretty person.
Mine, when I saw Pierce Brosnan in Dante's Peak, that's when I knew.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? My dad took me to Titanic once when I was like pretty young.
Yeah.
And that was a pivotal moment for me.
Kate Winslet,
the Kate Winslet scenes, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
what is your favorite bird, if you can even choose?
That's a good question. I have it on my arm.
Show the viewers.
The Cerulean Warbler.
And so that's why you called your album Cerulean, perhaps?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I got the tattoo because of that album, which was sort of dedicated to my mom. So the tattoo is kind of dedicated to my mom. But I've only seen one of these ever, and it was kind of like one of those like special birds. So I kind of hope that I only ever see one. I'm sure I'll see another one, but yeah, that's number 1 right now. But we'll see.
Cerulean Warbler?
Yes. Yeah. Good job.
Warbler. Okay.
Warbler.
How long have you been a birding enthusiast, and why do you do it?
Is this podcast just about birds? Is this a birding podcast? Oh boy, really making me look cool for the listeners. It was kind of a COVID thing.
You started in COVID, okay.
Yeah, a little. I mean, I got serious about it during COVID, My wife's mom is big into it, and so my wife is kind of into it because of that, and then I never really took it seriously. But when I was a kid, I was like obsessed with animals and stuff, so it was kind of a natural transition for me in my mid-30s.
Yeah. You're not alone. I did download the app, and I identified a few birds, and my sister's very into it too. So
I've gotten a lot of people into it. The apps help because it's kind of like a video game a little bit, like collecting all these birds and making a life list. But
it is.
I think for me mostly, I mean, I've always enjoyed the outdoors, and it's just kind of another reason to be outside and like kind of slow things down and just kind of be immersed in nature and not just like, I feel like some people, like, you take a hike and you sort of just looking at your feet the whole time, whereas when you sort of know what you're looking for, you're kind of even more immersed in the nature.
Yeah.
which is a very granola answer, but I'm a crunchy guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here,
Yeah.
everyone.
Are these all bird? These are all
No,
bird
no, that was the
questions.
last bird question. What is your favorite movie starring Brad Pitt?
Oh God, here we go. Okay, I think Troy is not as bad of a movie as people say it is. It's a rewatchable movie, okay? That's what you wanted me to say. I enjoy that movie every time it comes on cable. I love it. I don't love it. No, it's not that good. But I think it's not as bad as it got. It got a bad rap.
I did eventually watch it and I loved it.
Right?
But you were,
It's not
yeah,
bad.
I just thought it was so fun. You were watching it every night on tour, like little 15-minute increments, it seemed.
Well, I think I read a book about the Troy story, and so I wanted to revisit the most accurate depiction
Yes,
of the
that's
Battle
ever
of
been made.
Troy that's
Yep.
ever been made.
Okay, what was your first job?
Irrigation. I used to work on people's sprinkler systems in the
Really?
summer. Yeah, so I
Okay.
used to just dig trenches and lay pipe. Yeah,
Wow.
that's right.
Okay. What is your favorite cereal?
Good question. I don't eat much cereal now, but I was always into Raisin Bran.
Raisin
Yeah,
Bran. Do
that
you
was my jam.
remember? I think it was a Canadian cereal called Just Right.
I don't remember that. Is that true?
It was just right. It was
Oh,
so good, but no one knows about
I
it.
no, that's not on my radar.
Okay. And finally, final rapid fire question. If you could play a concert in Medicine Hat, Alberta, or go birding alone in a bog, which would you choose?
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Medicine Hat. I would choose the bog.
I would choose Medicine Hat.
Yeah, you loved it
I loved it.
because you're a sucker for the
I'm a
standing
sucker.
ovation.
Yeah, I know. They gave me 3 and I'll never forget it.
They were pity ovations.
I know. No one needs to know that part, though. Okay, now we'll get into the hard-hitting questions. So last year we completed a tour together throughout Western Canada. During our long, long drives, we talked a lot about our hometowns and your hometown, London, Ontario. Were there other people in your periphery in London making music and seriously pursuing the arts when you were there? What was London like for you? Or did you have to kind of leave London to find your artistic voice?
Yeah, I had to leave London. I couldn't wait to get out of London. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have much of a musical history in London, really. I mean, I played in one band as a guitar player. We played at Call the Office a couple times, and that was kind of it. But that wasn't really like a musical awakening for me. It was sort of just like I played guitar in the basement, and that was it. It was like not a part of my social life, which is really funny. It didn't become like a social thing till I went to school for music in Boston. So yeah, London was kind of I was always kind of trying to get away from
Yeah.
And still am to some extent.
Yeah.
You know?
Still creating some distance.
Yeah, exactly. As much as
Yeah.
possible.
So that's the funny part is that you eventually went to Berkeley, but originally you went to study guitar and songwriting kind of came after, which is confusing to me and probably anyone who's a fan of you. You're obviously an amazing guitar player, but the fact that songwriting came later is surprising. So what was
Yeah.
Berkeley like for you, and how did you first start discovering your songwriting?
Yeah, well, honestly, it's amazing that I even got in because I don't think I was even that good of a guitar player. And so I was lucky to get in and kind of figure out what I wanted to do while I was at school, which was, I think, rare for a lot of the students who went there. Like, I think a lot of people go there kind of already sort of knowing what they want to do and kind of like finished products already, or at least close to being finished products. And I had no idea I knew I loved music and I knew I wanted to have a future in music, but I didn't really know I didn't know how to define that. So when I got there and I realized that everybody was a better guitar player than me,
Oh God.
I was sort of like, I don't know how I'm going to put this I don't know how I'm going to make a career out of this. So I tried a whole bunch of different things, took a whole bunch of different courses, and then decided I decided to take a songwriting course. I thought it would be a good idea to try to write a song, and I think I took a songwriting course, not having written anything, and thinking that the course would just be like us like listening to songs and dissecting songs and whatever and just
Yeah.
talking songs. But it was like within the first week they were like, okay, bring in a song next week.
Oh gosh, so that was
And
your
so
first song?
that was my first song. Yeah. So
Wow. And what was that song called?
it was, I think it was called Flying Bicycle, and it
Okay.
was really bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really bad. Um,
Wow.
but that was kind of like that kind of gave me the motivation to start doing it. And I wrote really bad songs for like a year and a half, and then they started getting better. And
Mm.
yeah, and then I just kind of became obsessed with it. And that's sort of where I found a community that I really clicked with. I
Yeah.
think that was the first like musical community that I really was like, okay, this
Mm.
is sort of
These people are
where I
like
belong.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these people are like me. They think like me. They yeah, they have the same emotions as me. Like just I just really got. I don't think being growing up in London and like being primarily like hanging out with athletes in high school, like I was just sort of never immersed in that sort of creative community, I don't think. So that was kind of like just a light switch moment for me to kind of just be around others and be inspired by them.
Mm.
So once I found those people, then I just started writing nonstop, and it was kind of just like that's what I would do all the time. So,
Wild.
and then it just kind of snowballed from there, and I started writing okay songs, and then they got
They
better.
graduated.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably the best way to approach it because I wish I went to school for songwriting because
yeah,
you're really, if you are going to write your first song and workshop it, you can do it in that moment with some professionals.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was
over and over.
super helpful just to be like inspired by these people too. And I
Yeah.
mean, well, when did you start writing? Like, what age were you writing? I'm
Well,
slipping this on you now.
I think it was I did little poems, but I was always singing, and
Yeah,
I always knew early on that I was going to be Shania Twain,
of course.
of course,
Yeah.
and I'm still trying. But yeah, it was always little poems. I started with the fiddle when I was young, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to be a songwriter, I'll move to guitar.
Right.
So, but I think fully formed song I wrote when I was 12 or 13 with my guitar teacher. So if anything, I had him. Like he made me come in every week with a new song because he knew I didn't have any um, motivation for theory,
Right. Yeah.
and I still don't.
Sure. Me neither.
Yeah, it was more about the words and the melodies for me. So,
Yeah.
so really, he was kind of my Berkeley.
Yeah.
Fred Brooks, if you're listening.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. I want to talk more about Cerulean, which is your album that came out in 2022. I read on your website that when you were writing this, you were writing it because you needed to.
Yeah.
So, can you talk about that time? Because I know that was a big transition for you. You just moved to the country, you
Mm-hmm.
lost your mom, dealing
Yeah.
with a lot of grief. So, maybe that's where that album came from.
It was a lot of what I was going through, but also I just think like, again, like I started writing songs super late, and I think it took me a decade to figure out like how to actually, well, not how to write songs, but like how to put my own imprint on songs. I
Mm.
think I like at Berkeley, I think I learned all the tools to create a song, and then I was able to sort of make up stories because I had the tools to write them. I think my first few albums, like there's some good songs on there, but I never really connected with any of them on a deep personal level.
Mm.
And then I think that was sort of a natural transition where it was like once I sort of knew the template on how to write a song, I could then like finally insert myself into it. So that felt like the first album where I was like able to actually like put myself in these sort of characters that I've been writing, and
Yeah.
start the song from a place of truth. Like I don't really stick to the truth word for word in all my songs, but they're now I find they at least start from a place of truth, and then
Mm.
they kind of go from there. And some of them are like purely the truth and some of them aren't, but in general, like I think I'm now able to sort of insert myself into those songs because I'm more comfortable doing it than I used to be, you know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like I made up all these characters and people in all my early songs, and my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, didn't like me writing songs about her, so I just sort of made up stories or like
Oh,
wrote them about other people,
interesting.
or yeah, which
Because
is
as a listener, even the new songs that you've just put out, Cataclysmic End and My Love for You is a Straight Line,
mhm.
I feel like most of your songs, I just assume they're about your wife. Like I hear a lot of her in there.
I think the newer songs are the first time I've actually for real written any songs about her. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's sort of always been these kind of made up characters. And I'm sure there's been pieces of her in songs, but
Yeah.
you know, now I feel like I'm just genuinely writing about her now, and I think
Yeah.
she's cool with it now because I'm
She's finally okay.
a lot better at writing songs than I used to
Yeah,
be, so that
maybe that
helps.
was what was
No,
happening.
I think the songs were bad at first. And I would like send them to her when she was at university, and she'd be like, "Ugh, flying
Funny.
bicycle.
Yeah,
It's good."
really good, sweetie.
Yeah.
You showed me a bunch of the demos when we were on tour, and I think I remember you saying in the car, Cerulean kind of had a mood to it and maybe a bit
Hmm.
of sadness, but I think you said your intention for this new album was that had maybe a bit more energy and movement to it. Like what is the change in this album, or what was your intention? Like how did you want this to be different?
I think with Cerulean, I not only sort of was able to start putting myself into these songs, but also I think I just found, like, for lack of better word, like I found the vibe that I've been looking for, you know?
Mm,
I think I like me and Jim Bryson, who that was I made 3 records with Jim, and Cerulean
love Jim.
was the latest I made with Jim, and obviously you know him. You did your record with him, which is amazing. And I think after 3 records with Jim, like we finally kind of zeroed in on this specific sound that I think I sort of like that it's sort of just been the thing that I've always wanted to make. It was always a record I always wanted to make. But with Cerulean, it was kind of like one tone of it. It was sort of this like these really kind of dark songs about grief, but like with this general sort of like groove and pulse to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wanted to sort of take that groove and pulse and sound where it's like sort of tight groovy drums with, for lack of a better word, a guitar riff, and just and make it more than one tone, you know, where Cerulean just sort of, to me in my mind, is this tone from start to finish, which I really love about it. But I kind of wanted to be a bit more dynamic and kind of push the tempo a little bit,
Yeah.
and just have a bit more variety to that sound. So I think we achieved that, but yeah, we'll see.
Completely. I've been
Yeah.
listening to the 2 new tracks on repeat all
Yeah.
day today, so I hear the shift.
Oh,
I
thank you.
definitely do, and I'm very excited for the new album.
Thank you.
As are all of your, um, all of the young men,
The young men, the sad boys.
the sad
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah. Yeah, the sad boys.
They're waiting. Okay, so obviously you have chosen music.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You have chosen a life in the arts. Do you see yourself doing this when you're 88?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I feel like when you start doing music in your early 20s, you start defining success based on just these things that you're told are a definition of success. So you just start when you start setting your goals for what you want out of your music career, it's just naturally turns into like notoriety and money. Like
Yeah.
that's the only scale you sort of have at that age.
Yeah.
And now that I've been doing this for over a decade now, I'm sort of like, no, the goal was just to write songs for a living. Like that was
Yeah.
the goal. I just
Yeah.
didn't really know. I didn't know it then that it could look. I didn't know that could look like not fame and fortune. You know what I mean? And so now that I have made a living writing songs for over 10 years now, I'm like, well, that's sort of was the goal the whole time. So it's like I'm kind of exactly where I kind of want it to be. So I'm trying to like live with that, because obviously it's so hard to not always be like
Oh,
wanting
constant.
more, you know.
Constant.
You know, other than you know, it'd be nice to have a steady paycheck in the mail every month. You know, I
Mailbox
still,
money.
yeah, you know, exactly. That'd be nice, but I still have to grind for a lot of things. But in general, I'm like, well, this is the goal. And so, yeah, if I can just keep doing that, then
Yeah.
that's sort of everything I ever wanted to do, because I don't really care about how many people see me. I sort of just want to keep writing songs.
Yeah.
So as long as I can do that, great. And if
Yeah.
there's an audience for it, amazing.
Hmm.
That's awesome. But if there's not, I'm still going to keep writing them. So, if
Yeah.
that's my job, then great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be writing until you're 88,
I would
even
think
if
so.
even if
Yeah.
no one's there
I'll
to hear you.
probably disappear into the woods by then, but I'll still be writing songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've come to that realization because we're both in our mid to late
Yep.
30s.
Uh-huh.
Because I also had that feeling all through my 20s and early 30s. I had this expectation of myself to hit
Yeah.
certain milestones,
Sure.
but I've also come to a place where I'm just so beyond grateful that I was born as an artist.
Sure.
And I'm like, there's a lot of people that are born not knowing what they want to do
Yeah.
and what their purpose is. I don't make money a lot of the time from music, but it's not even, sometimes I'll forget to pick up the check at the end of the concert. Like, it's really not a money
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Me too.
Clearly,
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah. Clearly we didn't do it for the money. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also had to make peace with that because I did set these expectations in my head. But as I get older, I'm realizing it really does come down to money and timing and connections and them all arriving at the same time. And I've also had to accept that, just to be thankful for what I have built and not to be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us put that pressure on ourselves.
Oh, of course. And it's so
Yeah.
hard because you're just you're always seeing somebody doing something amazing all the
Yeah.
time that you would love to do. So it's hard to not be hard on yourself, and that pressure is sort of put on you from other people as well. So
Yeah.
it's difficult because, at the end of the day, it's still a job. Like you still have to do some things you don't want to do. Like
Yeah.
I can't just sit in my house all the time and write songs. Like I have to go do other things so that I can continue working,
Yeah. But that would be
Uh,
your ideal situation, just to be
yeah.
home.
Well, I mean, I think for me, I think the point is, it's just I've realized that the songwriting is what gives me the joy.
Oh yeah,
The
completely.
other stuff, even like performing, I like performing, but if that was taken away from me, I think I'd still be okay, because I think for me, it's just like the craft of songs is what I really care about. So that's
Yeah.
really all I need to do, but
Yeah.
have to do the other
You
things.
have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I can't decide which is my favorite. I think I wouldn't be able to live without performing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would say that's probably common for most
Yeah.
songwriters. Yeah.
I procrastinate songwriting. I think you're more dedicated to it than I am. I think
Yeah,
you
maybe.
look
I don't
forward
know.
to it more than me. I put it off for so long, and such a rewarding day to write a great song,
Yeah.
but I do put it off.
I mean, I do too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it took me close to a year to write anything after Cerulean,
Mm.
just because like sometimes it takes that long just to figure out what you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have anything to say after Cerulean. I felt like I'd said what I wanted to say, so it was like kind of like, what next?
Yeah.
And that's not a fun feeling when you feel like you're kind of waiting for it, but it's just a part of the process, I think. Like
I know.
it shows up one day, and you start a new thread, and you find that voice again. But yeah, sometimes it takes a while, which is why it's hard now, because it's like people sort of expect music from you all the time now.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, some people can do that, but for me, like I still need that. I need to walk away for a bit and come
Oh,
back to it.
and
Yeah.
we're also, just like when the album is out and done, there's still so much promotional work that we're doing
Yeah.
that isn't writing.
Oh yeah, big time.
And I do forget that that's the writing process, that I have to go live a little and find some balance in my own life.
Right.
And I sometimes wonder if the songs will arrive. It always changes with each album. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Like certain albums, they'll be done, and once it's out, like a faucet will turn on and all the songs come out. But then there's times where I'm just kind of stunted for months.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a part of the process, I think. Like it's just really hard to write a song and then write an album, like
Yeah.
you kind of need to I mean, I try to force myself into the habit of doing it all the time, but I still like I'm in LA this week writing songs, like doing some co-writes, and most of the time I'm sitting there thinking like I only write like 10 good songs a year. So like
Yeah,
what are the chances I'm going to write anything good today? Pretty slim,
that's
you know?
true. Really, there's really only 10 or so a year.
Yeah, and they're gifts, like
They
they
are
really are. Like
gifts.
I'm not going to sit here and say like, "Oh, the universe just dropped it in my lap," because I think that I allowed those gifts to be given to me just by the repetition of doing it.
Yeah.
But as bad as I want them every day, like I'm definitely not going to write something good every day. Like they really are sort of like the ones that I really feel like I can get behind are like, they feel like they were a
Like
gift,
little
yeah, a
diamonds.
little diamond, yeah.
I
That
know, it's
you
so
write all the other bad
strange.
ones to get to that one, but it is a frustrating thing being like, especially working with other artists this week, artists that I really like admire and am a fan of and would love to like have that day be that
The
day
good
where
day.
like, yeah, the good
Sorry,
day.
guys, today it doesn't look like a good day.
Well, that's how I feel sometimes. And this is a good exercise for me because I'm kind of new to the co-writing thing, but it's good for me to push past that because
Yeah.
immediately, like within the first half hour, if I'm like, I don't know, man,
Yeah.
it's not a good song day. Like, should we just like go get a beer or
Let's
something?
go call it a day.
But it's good to see that through because if I was writing by myself, I would normally just put it down and walk away and
Yeah.
maybe come back to it and maybe not, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't stick it out all day to try to finish it, I don't think. But
Yeah.
I think that there's value in doing that as well.
Oh, huge. I'd say I very rarely write alone. I co-writing has forced me to explore
Yeah.
concepts that
And are
I
you
wouldn't
liking
have.
it?
Oh, I love it. There's some of the best songs I think I've written have been co-writes with like with Garrison Starr or Rich Jacks. Like
Yeah.
every time I sit down with Rich, something is delivered to us. We've been
Amazing.
lucky so far.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to find him.
Right.
We just have like
Yeah, that's a rare thing
it's
to
very rare.
yeah, to find that
Yeah.
relationship, but that's definitely a valuable
Yeah.
thing to find for sure.
What is Ken Yates's ultimate career dream? Is Ken winning a Grammy in 2026? Is he selling out theaters or maybe arenas in 2 years? Or is he just at home with his family and opening mailbox money?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I know I
All
sort
of
of
it.
just talked about all that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the award stuff, like that's not stuff that I really think much about anymore. But I think there's still a part of me that like, I watch the Grammys every year and there's a bit of a pit in my
Me
stomach,
too.
where
I'm
I'm
like, oh
like
man.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm also hating it at the same time. And so
Yeah.
there is that part of me I fight with all the time where I'm like, why are you feeling like this? Why do you want to be there so bad? Like it doesn't matter. Like it's all so stupid,
I
right?
know, because we can't all get a gold star.
No, we can't get a gold star and whatever. It doesn't mean anything. Uh so I fight with that a lot, but then I also have done, I've been lucky to open for some artists who have big followings and be on tour with them, and you know what? It feels like really fucking good to play to 3,000 people every night. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say that didn't feel amazing and that wouldn't be
Wait, that felt good.
yeah, turns out. Well,
Turns out.
especially when you've been grinding playing, house concerts
Oh
and
God.
small clubs for years and then all of a sudden
13 people and
yeah, and then all of a sudden you get to the opportunity to play at, an amazing venue to all these people and you go like, "Oh, okay. Well, that feels pretty good."
yeah, I'd like to keep doing
I'd like
this.
to do more of that if that was an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also know that it doesn't matter either.
It
So,
doesn't matter.
probably the third one, probably again, just writing songs for a living and
Yeah.
continually being able to do that, I think, with and a check in the mail would be would be
Oh,
great. Yeah,
I love it. I'm always surprised when I get the occasional check for my music. I'm like,
yeah, it's the
oh,
best.
like,
You're like, really?
oh, yeah,
You
I guess
almost
so.
yeah. That's the definition of imposter syndrome for me when I get like a big check. I'm like, that can't be the right
I
amount.
know. There was one time it was my first ever royalty my first big royalty streaming check, and I thought the company that was representing me had made a mistake. And so
Yeah.
I just didn't say anything
Yeah.
about it. But it was actually,
Yeah. I
yeah.
remember when I got my first Sound
I
Exchange thing
love Sound Exchange. Thank you,
from
Sound
Sirius XM.
Exchange.
Yeah, and I was like, that's definitely a mistake. And then I checked my bank account and I was like, oh, they fucked up.
Right?
They sent it to me.
Oh my
Like, yeah,
God.
and I was
I
watching my bank account thinking that
it would
they
be
were going to
taken out.
correct it. Yeah.
I know that, yeah, Sound Exchange. I remember opening that check with my dad and we just started dancing around the
Yeah.
kitchen. I was
It's
like,
a good
oh
feeling.
wow.
It's a
Yeah.
good feeling. And then yeah, it's just nice to be compensated for all the work you put into it,
Right?
right? Because then you go months and months and months of just putting money into your career, and
Oh yeah.
so it's nice when those days happen.
Yeah.
It's a cause for celebration for sure.
Yes.
But then I'm like, no, I gotta hoard it. I gotta
I
hold on to it
know.
because the next record cycle's coming up, and
I just
I gotta put this
immediately,
away.
there's so many things that I just don't spend money on that are very necessary.
Yeah,
And I think I get used to living without them. Like
right.
food is
Yeah,
important.
food's great.
And rent. But anything
Yeah.
outside of that, I really pinch every penny.
Yeah, I mean it's the nature of the business is just you're just kind of even when you're kind of leveling up, you're still putting more and more money into the business, and
That's true.
it's just kind of how it is. So yeah, it's hard not to hoard it when you get it.
I
But
know.
I'm trying to like buy myself nicer things sometimes.
Every now and
Yeah,
then.
every now and then.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like us deciding to do music is a bit of an expensive delusional hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also watch interviews of some of the most successful people in music or any arena, and they say that you have to make your dream and your passion a delusion. Like,
Yeah.
it is a delusion for a long time, but you just have to keep feeding it and keep cultivating it. So, does it sometimes to you feel like this is an expensive hobby and you're kind of just crossing your fingers hoping that it will continue working?
Yeah, a little bit. That's definitely something I struggle with sometimes. Like my wife, she has a 9 to 5 job, and it can be very stressful and sometimes soul sucking, and sometimes I'm thinking about some of the fun I'm having at my job
Yeah.
sometimes, and I start getting a little bit of that, like, am I, you know is this all stupid? Should I be doing something more grown up
You
or
should say
like
that on stage
helpful?
between songs. Is this stupid?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to feel like this because it is also stupid too.
It's pretty
Everything's so
dumb.
stupid.
I know.
It's all ridiculous. I'm releasing singles this week with just multiple with like 3 shitty little Instagram posts. Like that's my
Yeah.
release plan.
I think it's a solid
A
plan.
solid plan, right? It's gonna be great.
But we also kind of have our hands tied because, like, it's not. I'm sure if
Yeah, no,
we
you
had a different,
you do what you can.
we're doing
Yeah,
what we
we're
can.
using the resources we can to get our music out there for sure.
Exactly.
But sometimes
Exactly.
it does all feel so dumb. But then you're just like, the reality is like I was never gonna do anything else. Like this was always what I was gonna do,
Yeah.
and whether I had to work another job to support it or not, it was always gonna be the thing.
Yeah.
And there might be a day where I just decide this is not the thing anymore. I'm
Yeah.
tired of it, but until that day, like there's a reason why I'm okay with, you know, like sleeping in a shitty motel in the middle of winter in Saskatoon uh, for my music because there's obviously a part of me, no offense, Saskatoon, but
Yeah.
um, there's a part of me that wants to be out there, wants to be doing it, right? Because
Yep.
there's so many shitty days, or you like the last two where I get stuck in Red Deer for 3 days
Oh
because I'm in a
God, I felt
snowstorm, and
so bad for you.
and then you're kind of asking yourself like, what am I doing out here?
I know.
But there's obviously a part of me that always wants to be doing this, even in the really shitty moments. I'm like, I don't have that thought that often, that like of what am I doing? It's
Yeah.
it's all to serve the purpose of making music. And like I said, like there might be one day where I just go like I'm done, but
Yeah.
until then,
Yeah.
I'm still not questioning it too much, you know?
No.
So,
I also feel that within me. It's a gift because it's this peace.
yeah,
It's my purpose. And
exactly.
it makes
Yeah.
me, there's no guarantee at all that I can even pay my bills half the time through it, and I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like it, it I would rather be financially stressed than not have this artistic outlet in my life.
Absolutely.
It's unwavering, my dedication to it still. And I feel like yes, we're getting older and maybe it's getting harder for us to continue with it, but I think we're also, as we get older, hitting our stride and we're getting better.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the hard thing with music is you see so many young people getting like immediate success, and you just think, especially when you're in your 30s, you kind of wonder like, is that it? You're like, have I missed the window?
Oh, I think
You
that all the
know?
time. I'm like, too bad.
Yeah.
I tried.
But it's so not true. And I think it's totally normal for me to say, like, listen, my first record wasn't good enough. My second record wasn't good enough. My third record started getting there.
Yeah.
And then my fourth record was like, okay, you've now found your thing. So
Yeah.
in a way, I'm like, I feel like I'm just getting started. And I think that that's okay for any career to take 10 years
Mm,
developing your skills and becoming really good at something in your 30s is like not a crazy thing.
yeah.
But I think the problem is so many people see 20-year-olds or 18-year-olds getting immediate huge success and thinking like the clock is ticking. But
Yeah.
and no 20-year-old wants to hear that their first album isn't good enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had told me at 21, I think I put my first album out at 21, that it's going to take more than 10 years for me to find the
Yeah.
sound that I want to find, I would have been like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have, you can't tell somebody that.
We should
Uh,
start telling
well, yeah, good
young
luck.
people,
Yeah, exactly.
hi,
Yeah,
it's gonna take you 10 years.
right. But like people are told that, like, when you decide to have a career as a musician, everybody tells you it's going to be hard.
I know
And you go,
we don't
and
really
you
understand.
sort of go, yeah, whatever, it'll be hard, but it won't be that hard for me, because there's this little thing in your head that's like, well, I'm gonna show them,
Yeah.
and I'll pay my dues for a few years, and then it's gonna work out, and it's way harder than you could ever imagine it was gonna be.
Oh yeah.
I think that's okay to be like, just started getting good at 33,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a very normal thing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
And I don't even some of the pop stars that we see popping off right now, like Sabrina Carpenter or Chapel Roan, it's taken them 10 years. They just
Yeah.
happened to be on the Disney Channel when they were 12.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do think that that's accurate.
Yeah.
It a lot of factors have to line up, but it does take time to develop.
Absolutely. And you
Yeah.
know what? And there's so much that happens in between. You can build these audiences, and you can work, and you can be making a living, and there's this whole middle class of of the music industry that just continues to chug along and have an audience. And that's the best thing about being an artist now, is that my social media following will not impress anybody, but I can go out and book a show, and 100 people will show up, and
That's
that's fucking awesome.
huge.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
And to have that, and for as far as I expect, like I should have that as long as I keep doing music, is cool,
Hmm.
So that's it's not all like a number. It doesn't need to be a numbers game, and as long as if people want to show up and see you play music, like that's pretty cool,
Yeah. That's all we could probably dream of when we were younger.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, like 100 people buying tickets to see me play
Yeah.
music, like awesome.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So how does Ken Yates unwind? I know it
uh,
seems from online that you and your wife truly enjoy the outdoors.
yeah. Yeah, we do. We're super crunchy.
You're portaging,
Yeah.
you're
I don't know
cross
why it's so
country.
embarrassing to talk about these things.
No, embrace it.
It's now a part of my life that I've prioritized for me too. Like I need to do those things
Yeah.
to keep doing this job, I think.
Hmm.
We get out in the nature as much as we can.
You get right in it.
We get right in it. Yeah. A lot of canoe trips, a lot of just time in the woods is really really important to me, to the point of like, you know, so many people this week are like, when are you moving to LA? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm gonna
No.
I'm gonna live in the woods for the rest of my life because that's how valuable it is to me.
I wouldn't see you thriving in LA. I think
Yeah.
visits would be
Yeah, visits are good. That's the
good.
thing. Like, there's a line where I'm like, I mean, I think you and I have talked about this a lot, where I'm like, you don't want to just disappear, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to stay connected.
Yeah.
You have to stay engaged. And so I do love that this job sort of keeps me engaged in traveling around and seeing different people. And that allows me to then fully immerse myself
Okay.
when I am in the nature. But like if I just disappeared into the woods, I think it would get dark for me. I think
Yes.
it would get pretty dark,
Yeah.
you know?
You at least have some company and
Yeah. And I think disconnecting too much also, like I need to disconnect to sort of give my brain a rest so I can come back and make good art, hopefully. But then I think if you're just disconnected all the time, then I think that probably negatively affects the art. Like you have to engage with the world.
Yes.
You have to be plugged in.
It is
I
important.
think that helps the things you're writing, right? Like,
Yeah.
what am I going to write about if I just live
in
the woods all the time?
Yeah.
And for the listeners, I don't actually live in the woods. I just live out in the country. But
you're in the country.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
The woods are in my future.
I do know that when I decided to move to LA, I was very concerned about this element because I'm very much happiest in nature. And if it weren't for music, I would be living in the country as well, in Canada. And I sort of was before I moved here. So I did worry about that. I'm like, is this going to affect my art? And I sometimes wonder if it does, because it's just the intensity of the city is so big. And we're artists, so we absorb everything.
Yeah, it's very overstimulating. I mean, the good thing about LA though is that you can get out to
that's the great
all
thing.
these beautiful places.
Oh my God!
And disconnect, and that's the best thing it's got going for it. But
every day I wake up here, I'm just happy.
Yeah.
And in awe.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I can see why. It's a nice place to be in. But yeah, I can see how it would get stifling sometimes. And
yeah. It's loud.
But I just think, like, for anybody, I mean, not to keep pushing the nature thing, but I'm just like, I just think that's good for everybody to go do that, especially like we've been taking these longer trips in the summer, and like this year we took a 2-week trip, and like to be away, like disconnected for that long was incredible.
Yeah.
It's just like, because you need a few days to sort of get the stimulation out of your system, and then
kind of
fully immerse, and then you really do have to surrender to it, and then once you surrender to it, it's like the best feeling.
Well, my final question, and I ask all of my podcast guests this, all 2 of you. There may be a third next year.
I can't wait. Can't wait to find out.
Maybe you'll be a repeat guest.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, what is your advice to songwriters?
I think just remember why you're doing it. You're doing it because you love music and you love songs, and don't let anything get in the way of that. If you're doing it to be popular, it's probably not going to go great. You're going to be super distracted by people and things and social media and all this stuff you're seeing every day, but just remember that the music comes first and is the most important thing. And if you're not there yet, like, just keep going. Like, I think the lessons I've learned now that I didn't expect at like 21 was how much patience I'd have to have, just how much resilience I'd have to have, like an insane amount of resilience. But if I didn't like absolutely love music, I wouldn't have been that resilient. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you do love it, then just hang in there and keep making music and keep putting music out. And that's my advice. I don't know if that's good advice, but
that's very good advice. Okay, I feel inspired.
Great. Go kids.
Yeah, go kids.
Write some songs.
Follow your dreams. Write some songs.
I sound like such an old guy now. Do you find that I find that like 35 is an interesting age, because I feel like I've been emerging for like a decade, and then I feel like in the last year it just flipped. Like all of a sudden people are talking to me like I'm an old guy. I was like, what?
Oh
I've
no.
been like emerging for years, and like so now I've missed emerging, and now I don't know what the opposite is. Like I don't think I've emerged yet, but
You're seasoned.
uh, I'm
People are
seasoned now.
looking at you
People,
differently.
yeah, people are talking to me like a seasoned
I
veteran.
know.
I'm like, this is weird.
I do remember it was like recently. I was like, I should probably remove this emerging word from my bio.
Yeah,
It's
right.
been a little
It's
long.
been emerging for 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ken, honored to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so
It's an honor.
excited for this new album, and I think it's just gonna destroy more hearts.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
to destroy hearts. And
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we could make this work.
me too.
Finally. I'm
And
honored to be your second guest.
second and final.
Second and final guest. This is amazing.
But also, I want to say that the world is an infinitely better place with your songs.
Thank you.
So keep doing this for us.
Well, likewise. I'm a huge Jada fan, so
Well, thank you.
you too.
Thank you. Well, Kenny, I noticed you had a guitar in your hands. Do you want to play the folks at home a little ditty?
She would like that, Jada.
Sure would. This is a little song we like to call Lake Louise. Lately I've been thinking of you as Lake Louise. Icy blue, turquoise, frozen, but flowing underneath. Ooh. So curious about the dark, the depth, the water. Did you get your sweet smile from your father? Come on, baby, here's my love. Where do you want it? Built a sling, put the bone back in. Been alone long enough to spot someone drowning. Come on, baby, here's my love. Do you want it? No currency attached to anything I give. Let's just go for a walk. 3, 4. Come on, baby, here's my love. Where do you want it? Found 1,000 ways to show you. Been alone long enough to spot someone drowning. Come on, baby, here's my love. Do you want it? Come on, baby, here's my love. Do you want it? Lately I've been thinking of you as Lake Louise. Great. Sounds so good.
Beautiful song.
So good.
You're always calling your mom in the dead of night with a temper you got from your father. By the time that you're feeling tired, you're covered in morning, you're covered up. Salt on the road from the morning plows. Still you find that you're spinning out, giving the mirror a dressing down. It never shows you what you want. I hope you wear and you welcome out under the veil of your hanging cloud. Hope you're taking it light on yourself and sleeping better. I hope you're whetting your appetite, finding your way into someone's eyes. Hope you're dreaming in black and white, seeing in color under the cover of light. Under the cover of light. A little lighter fluid therapy, and you found yourself going overseas, seeing the world in ADHD, and it never shows you what you want. I hope you wear and you welcome out under the veil of your hanging cloud. Hope you're taking it light on yourself and sleeping better. I hope you're whetting your appetite, finding your way into someone's eyes. Hope you're dreaming in black and white and seeing in color under the cover of light. Under the cover of light. Sign said satisfaction guaranteed, then you bought it. And I know everything you said is not quite what you thought. I see the madness in the trees, and I'm inclined to disagree that the universe has canceled your plans. I hope you're wearing your welcome out under the veil of your hanging cloud. Hope you're taking it light on yourself and sleeping better. I hope you're whetting your appetite, finding your way into someone's eyes. Hope you're dreaming in black and white, seeing in color. I hope you're sweating the bigger stuff, finding some peace in an honest love. Hope you stop when you had enough, throwing the towel. I hope I see you around sometime, blowing smoke through your social life. Hope you're dreaming in black and white, seeing in color under the cover of light. Under the cover of